what do we have here? This is the A&K PKM. Whew. This is a big gun, let me tell you right off. Now I made a little kind of teaser-ish video a while ago, but I'm actually going to tell you more about this thing right now. As you may notice, mine has a Bakelite grip and a wood stock. Huh. That's strange. Well, it comes with this stock, this black plastic stock, and a black plastic grip, as well as plastic handle up here. The plastic is really nice. It's a fiber reinforced polymer. It's not bad, but this is a PKM. That just won't do it for me. I'm not much of a modern guns person, so first thing I did was buy an AK pistol grip. Yes, this is an AK-47 or AKM, rather, pistol grip. It's made out of Bakelite. It's Romanian, and it did take a good bit of modification to fit on here, but it looks excellent. And the stock, well, I can't really help you there. I made this stock out of cedar and then stained it and put a coat of polyurethane on it, and I think it looks pretty good. The only thing left to do is change out the black plastic carry handle handguards with a set of Bakelite ones. So I'll do that in the near future. The other thing that you may notice is different is right here. This flash hider. The one it comes with is a really long orange plastic flash hider. It looks cool, but it's just a big orange piece of plastic, and no one likes that. So what I did was I bought a real PKM flash hider for an AK. Yes, this is real. This is CNC machined out of steel, but it does fit because, believe it or not, real AKs are 14mm counterclockwise threaded. This is a little smaller than an actual PKM one just because it is made for an AK and not specifically a PKM. Real PKMs have different size threading, so you can try to buy a real PKM flash hider, but I'll just tell you right now, it is not going to fit. But anyways, back to the gun itself. What do I think of it? Well, like I said before, and I'll say it again, this thing is massive. Alright, this thing is just so much longer than any other gun on the field. Now, of course, there are sniper rifles that are longer, but this does size up a lot of the typical bolt actions. The SVD is a bit longer. I think the M240 Bravo is longer. Not entirely sure on that, but this is long, believe me. And the way it handles is really weird because you have the magazine right here. In typical Russian fashion, the gun is quite awkward to hold. The PPSH is a lot like this. You hold it back here, of course, you know, but where do you put this hand? You can put it under the magazine, but with the weight of this thing, it makes it incredibly awkward to hold like that. You can hold it up here, which is what I usually do, or you can hold the bipod, grip it like that. So you have several different options, but let me tell you, it is a bit awkward to hold, and it does get heavy. I personally don't like slings, but this is the one gun that I actually have a sling on. You kind of need it. Now what this is an AK sling, a real AK sling. I believe it's Polish made, and it clips in up here, but there really is no sling mount in the rear. So what you have to do is you have to you know, get this set up so this loops around the hole of the stock right here, and then it'll hold nice and tight and be real steady. Anyways, back to the gun itself. The magazine holds 5,000 rounds, if you didn't already know that. That is a lot of ammo. I mean, that is a lot. Comes off with a little switch on this side. It's all kind of basic stuff. And it is externally fully made of stamped steel. This is a small cast part, but I mean, it really is mainly steel. Opens up like that. As you can see, there's a lot of room in here. You can fit your batteries in here. You can fit a stick type across here. You can fit a large type across here. there are so many options for batteries on this thing. And I've heard some people complain, oh, there's only a little battery compartment on this thing. You can use all of this magazine as your battery compartment, so long as you can get the wires to fit. Because this can slide in, you know, for the wires to attach to it. You can slide them through here and really plug it in wherever you want. So you have a lot of options, and it houses a lot of batteries inside of this magazine, more than most people initially think. So I'm just going to leave that off for now. Now, most of the gun is made out of stamped steel. Of course, excluding the parts that are plastic. I'd say it's about 60 or 70% steel. The whole lower receiver here is stamped steel. Top cover, stamped steel. Dust cover, stamped steel. Dust cover, stamped steel. Dust cover, stamped steel. Trigger guard, trigger, and safety are cast metal. All AEG triggers are cast metal. The magazine attachment point is stamped steel. The feed tray is unfortunately cast metal. The rear sight and the retainer are cast metal. The tangs in the rear are stamped steel, as is the entire butt plate assembly. The carrying handle is steel, as is the attachment point for it. The trunnion is cast metal. The piece here for a tripod mount is cast metal. Gas tube is machined aluminum. Barrel machined aluminum. Gas block cast metal. Front sight cast metal. Flash hider is initially plastic. Bipod is stamped steel, and the mounting bracket is cast metal. Magazine, like I said before, is almost entirely made of steel. And that's really it for your external parts, aside from your bolt, which is, well, the bolt handle is cast metal, and the actual sheet inside is steel. Removing the barrel isn't very difficult, but it's a little more complicated than the M60. It's definitely less convenient. You have to open the feed tray and dust cover, of course, and then look for this screw right here. You have to rotate that 180 degrees. Once you've done that, you just simply have to push it out, just like this. Once you've done that, the barrel will simply pull straight out. Putting it back together is just the same thing in reverse. You have to put the barrel in, make sure you line up the gas tube here, push it in, set your piece in, and then push it into place, and then of course rotate this 180 degrees again. Once you've done that, the barrel is going nowhere. Here you get a look at it from the shooter's perspective. That's what the iron sights look like, very similar to AK sights, except they adjust in the opposite direction. You can slide it down like that. You know, either direction. The range and accuracy on this gun are actually quite good. It can hit targets easily and accurately up to about 160, 170 feet. After that, the BB starts to spread out quite a bit. So what I did to it was I put a garter bucking and a matrix type bore barrel in there. And the garter bucking eventually wore down, so I put the stock bucking back in, but it's quite accurate with the combination of the type bore barrel and the stock bucking. So if you want to do that, it's not a bad option. At some point I'll probably put a Systema bucking in there, or maybe even do an R-hop on this gun. We'll see. The gearbox is very similar to the A&K M60 and the M249 gearbox. It's a decent bit wider than the M60 gearbox. I don't have an M249 to compare it to. All I can do is compare it to pictures. So I can't tell if it is exactly the same as the M249 gearbox, but it is very close. It also has the quick detach spring, and it uses a Microswitch Trigger. Now, like I said, it uses a Microswitch Trigger, very similar to this, although the one in it does not have the wheel. A lot of people dislike Microswitch triggers, and I have no reason, or I have no idea why they don't like them. The trigger response is much better than an AEG trigger. the trigger is much lighter. I mean, it's so light, and it simplifies the gearbox because you don't have a whole trigger assembly. You just have a trigger that just pushes down this button is essentially what you have. It makes replacement a lot easier, and there are a lot of these out there. I think the reason people don't like them is because the ones that come in these guns are unreliable. They're Korean made, the ones that are in here. And after a little while, they'll stop working, or they'll get what people call sticky trigger, where the trigger just keeps running. You let your finger off the trigger and the gearbox keeps going. That does happen with the triggers that come in this thing. So here's a US made trigger. You can buy these pretty much anywhere and they're cheap. E-Vike has classic Army ones, but they're like several dollars. You can find US made ones a lot cheaper if you just look around your hardware or electronic stores, things like that. And very easy to put in, and they all work with little to no modification. Another little interesting electrical piece to this gun is a rate of fire adjuster. Some people call it a MOSFET. Technically, it's not a MOSFET. That just goes in here. You press the buttons, and you can raise and lower your rate of fire, and you move the switch depending on what battery you're using. Now, I have disabled mine, and the reason is because for the main part, I only keep it on the high level setting, the fastest it'll let it go. Just because, I mean, it's not incredibly fast, and when you lower it, you're just putting more resistance in the wiring, essentially, and it doesn't sound good when you slow it down. The gearbox sounds really grindy because you're just creating resistance, and that's not a good thing. It's kind of pointless. And plus, I just had it on the highest setting, and one day I was out in the field playing, and all of a sudden it just was acting up on me. The rate of fire, it would go like, it would start fast and then it would slow down like almost instantly. It was very sporadic. I just got annoyed with it, and so what I did was I took this apart, which is quite easy to do. I took it apart and I literally just ripped the wires out and spliced them together and just taped them. And you know, it works a lot better now. It works much better with this bypassed. What you can do is, it does come with an extra plug in the box that you can just unplug this MOSFET. I'm sorry, I'm calling it a MOSFET. You can unplug it, and then you can just plug this little clip in, and it just completes the circuit without the MOSFET. It bypasses it, which is what I recommend you do. So what are my thoughts of this gun? Well, I think it's an awesome gun. It is quite expensive. I purchased it for $480 a little while back. The price right now is around $460. This is the A&K version, not the Echo One version. And of course, for any of you that know, the Echo One is just a rebrand of this with a couple little fancy gimmicks. So I don't want to hear any, oh my god, no it's not. It is, okay. So anyways, I've used this thing quite a few times, and it is menacing. Alright, this is a beast. My friend was in front of me when I was using it, and he said the BBs just whizzed by. And it's true, we chronoed this thing around 420 FPS, and boy did the BBs whistle when they come out of this thing. It is very, very intimidating, and definitely helps to suppress enemies. That's really all I can think to tell you about this gun right now. I'll be doing a shooting test of this gun soon, hopefully. And if you have any questions, let me know. If I kind of missed anything important out, let me know as well. I'll mention it. But yeah, that's essentially it. It's a really nice gun. It's kind of expensive, but it's unique. Not a lot of people know what this gun is. Not a lot of people use it. I have actually not seen anyone on the field bring out a PKM yet. So I think I'm the only one in my area that has one. The funny thing is, like I said, not a lot of people know what this gun is. I've heard people call it, or at least when I was out on the field, I heard them call it an SVD. I've heard it called an RPK, a Dragunov sniper rifle, M60, M249. I have only heard one person actually call it a PKM, which is strange, but yeah, it's still quite new. It's fresh, so I don't know if you just want to be a support gunner, but you don't want to have your generic M60, or you want to do kind of classic old school loadouts like I do. There's really no better option than the PKM. So that about sums this up. Thank you for watching.